Hey, so this is me, Adam Quiney, and I haven't done a lot of videos. In the past, my approach has kind of been more to write stuff out, because if I write stuff out, I can get it perfect, and then you don't see any authenticity, you see the perfection that I've created. And so I'm kind of trying something different here. So this morning I was out for a bike ride in beautiful Victoria, BC, and I was thinking about who my people are, who my clients are. And really what I was thinking about was who you are for me. People often ask me, like, well, Adam, who do you work with? Like, who are your people? Are they lawyers? Are they businessmen? And yeah, sometimes, but that's not really the point. It's not what they do, it's who they're being. It's who they are inside and what's available to them. That's what defines the sort of people I work with. So I want to talk a bit about that. And the first thing I want to talk about is me. It's my favorite subject, or tends to be, and it gives a little context here. So all my life, I've been a master of fitting in. In grade 6, and I've written about this, you can read it on our blog if you're interested, but in grade 6, a girl was talking to me and she sort of said jokingly, like, well, you know you're a loser. And I thought, I responded, I said, no, I'm not. I'm not a loser. And then she called her friend over and said, he doesn't even realize that he's a loser. And so from that moment I realized, well, shit, I'm a loser. Okay, well, I better manage that. Like, if I'm a loser, then let's figure out how to compensate for that. And so all of my life, I worked really hard to fit in. I became a master of fitting in. And that's kind of how I've defined my life. You know, I got into software development originally, and I figured out how to fit in, how to speak the language, how is it acceptable to show up in those circles. And then from there, I started to get into project management, and I learned how to fit in there. I learned how to fit in all these places. I went into law. I went back to school for law school and started working as a lawyer and fit in there. I figured out how to dress. And, you know, the beauty is that my incessant compulsion to fit in was perfect in worlds where there's all these rules and you had to learn the rules, because that's what fitting in is. I'd learn, like, what's the rule for being cool in school? What's the rule for having someone accept you? Oh, you've got to dress a certain way and you've got to have these mannerisms. If anyone's ever seen the movie American Psycho, it's a little bit like Patrick Bateman minus killing people. So, of course I would be good at software development. Of course I would be good as a lawyer. It's just the same game, right? I'm learning the rules and then figuring out, well, how do I manipulate them? What's the freedom it gives me? How do I fit in within these rules? That's who you are. If you're my client, you have that capacity. You are a master of fitting in. We could put you anywhere, and you could figure out what you need to do to actually fit in there. That's the first part of who you are. And underneath this, there might be this sense of, like, yeah, I'm fitting in, but who the fuck cares? I fit in, but I'm bored. I'm not thrilled. I'm not excited to be here. I'm playing this game. I've mastered it. I've fooled all these people. But secretly underneath that, you also might harbor some kind of fear that you're a loser, or that you're going to get found out, or that you've, like, simply faked it. And eventually someone's going to come over here and say, hey, you don't belong here. You don't fit in here. You're just trying to make it look like you do. That's the first part of who you are. And it segues to the second part. Here's the thing. You're not meant to fit in. The best thing someone could do is come to you and shake you and say, hey, you don't fit in here. You're not supposed to fit in here. That's not who you are for the world. That's not why you were put on this planet. All of that energy that you've been expending, trying to fit in to whatever you do. And when you don't fit in there, when you get sick of not fitting in there, even though you've mastered it, you go to the next thing and you try to fit in there and you realize, fuck. Even this is no different. I can fit in here, and you know that you could go to the next place, the third thing, and fit in there, and it still wouldn't make a difference. And that's because you're not meant to. Who you are for me is someone that doesn't try to learn the underlying paradigms and then live within them and fit inside them. You're someone that creates those paradigms. You're a world-class leader. You're someone that says, these rules are bullshit. It's not what we're meant to be doing. This is stupid. Everyone's trying to fit in with these rules, and that's not the game that I want to play. It's not the game any of us really want to be playing. You're the sort of person that creates the rules. You identify the stupidity of the rules, and you get, it's not about trying to bolt another piece onto this structure that already is kind of rickety and doesn't really work. It's about knocking that down and actually creating something new. So that's who you are for me. If you want to work with me, you're those two things. You're someone that's a master of fitting in. We could put you anywhere and you would be successful. And two, you're ready to no longer fit in. You're ready to put a dent in the universe. To say, fuck this mold. I'm not fitting into it anymore, and I refuse to keep trying to do so. Because I get that there's something far greater than this. And if we're really willing to be courageous, we can create it. That's who you are for me.